Let's just revel in karma, shall we? And what we are talking about today is we've had some of these basically no-name actors that were in Star Wars. They've come out, they've towed the party line, they've towed the company line, and they have just blasted fans because their careers didn't take off, because they thought Star Wars was going to be their stepping stone, and it wasn't, because they all ruined it all. Well, let's look at some of the just desserts that some of these people are getting. Now, to be fair, so this movie actually did not have a very big budget, and it is a remake from 1993 or 1995. I can't remember exactly which one, but it didn't have a big budget, so it's going to make its money back unless it completely drops off at the end of the first week. But at the end of the first week, with a budget of $750,000, it's only made barely over $1 million. And this is Kelly Marie Tran's film, The Wedding Banquet, and it's failing to make $1 million at the box office. These numbers have now been updated. It's a little bit over, it's basically 1.1 million. After she publicly trashed Star Wars fans, I love the fact that she's in this. That means I won't get struck for saying trans quite a bit in this, because if you know anything about the movie, it's actually about a bunch of queers, and one of them actually is a trans. So just weeks after she publicly lambasted the Star Wars fandom while promoting her latest film, The Wedding Banquet, the movie has underperformed the box office, opening to less than $1 million in ticket sales for its first weekend. Now, that is obviously horrible, but in the whole entire if they did previews 3 to 4 day weekend in 1,142 theaters, I did a little bit of math, and we're just assuming that every ticket costs $20. That means that every theater for the entire weekend sold 40 seats. The entire weekend. That is absolutely abysmal. And how did it get into this many theaters? Who knows? There's also, okay, we'll get into that later, because there's something else. I was like, why did you expect this to do anything at all? That figure places the film well below expectations and raises serious questions about its commercial viability and trans star power, because, yeah, well, she's a biological woman, so even if she turned into a man, the trans star power just wouldn't be there. She didn't have star power in the beginning. Nobody knew who she was whenever they completely massacred who who seemed like a very sweet person, when they put her in The Last Jedi and had her basically wreck the entire plot, wreck character arcs. She seemed like she took it well. She said the reason why she got off Twitter, why she stopped social media, was because of the media and not because of fans. She specifically said it wasn't because of fans. But now she's come out, I guess because she wanted a job again. I guess waiting tables doesn't pay that well in California. Tran, only known for her portrayal of Rose Tico in Star Wars: The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Don't even say that. She is a background character. She is an extra in The Rise of Skywalker. I don't even think she even says a single dadgum thing. She used the press tour for The Wedding Banquet to revisit her experience with the franchise's fan base. In an interview, she said she felt persecuted by Star Wars fans. Persecuted for screwing up a good character. Look, you're both mad at Star Wars fans. You should be mad at the people who wrote, produced, directed, and filmed the Star Wars sequel trilogy. This is what it always should have been in the first place. This was not the first interracial. Maybe that's what they're really upset about. It wasn't the first interracial kiss in Star Wars. I don't know. I was already being ridiculed, she said, because she looked like a potato sack. There were comments about my race or comments about me being a woman. This is how I know this bitch is stupid as fuck. Do you remember the original Star Wars? Princess Leia, there's always been a woman. There's always been multiracial people in there. You remember Lando Calrissian from The Empire Strikes Back? Oh my gosh, it's almost like nobody was actually mad about that. And it's also the internet, so you got a bunch of trolls and a lot of people just saying weird ass crap just to try to get under your skin. If you're going to be on the internet in the sandbox that is basically unfettered terrain, you need to have a thick skin and know what is sincere and what is just trolling and what is a complete fucking moron. But obviously you don't. You've been sheltered your entire life. I already felt like I was being persecuted for those things. So what did she do? She decided to become non-binary. It is a choice. You can't prove it otherwise because these things happen all the time. Oh, or else, hey, if you think that you're born this way, well, she is co-opting your fucking movement. So maybe you should start piling on her. You see how this gets extremely hairy whenever you break it down in these kind of ways. No, it's a fucking choice because you're trying to take the easy way out because you can't afford a gun. The easiest way would be what 42% of that type of population does to themselves willingly without anybody forcing them to. But I digress with this. The timing of these comments paired with the film's underwhelming box office performance, like I said, if we just go a basic division problem, only 40 tickets per theater were sold for the entire opening weekend. That means that if the roof had caved in like it did with Blacked in America, we would have no casualties. It sparked conversation among industry watchers and fans alike. While Tran didn't reference Disney or Lucasfilm in her remarks, she echoed sentiments similar to those recently made by fellow sequel star John Boyega. Well, John Boyega actually was supposed to be one of the stars. He was in The Force Awakens. He was a very big character, and then he became a side character, and then he became a house. Like Tran, Boyega has also chosen to direct criticism toward the fan base rather than the studios or creative teams responsible for other characters who handle the films. And this is what I've been saying from the dadgum get-go. Why take it out? You take it out on the people who can actually lash out back to you, but only with words, yet words hurt your fifis. The other people who are hitting you in the wallet and the career and the pocketbooks, you're not taking it out on them because you're going to need money at some point, and apparently you're completely worthless in any other industry that could earn money. Critics of this approach argue that it risks alienating the very audiences needed to support new projects. Here's the thing about The Wedding Banquet. Not only is it a remake, but it's also basically an all Asian cast, and it's a rom-com. How have rom-coms done in the cinema, in films, in theaters over the past probably 10, 15 years now? At least 10. They've all been dropping off. When was the last good rom-com that you've ever seen? What was it? I mean, the last one's, I think a rom com, the last really good one that we could consider a rom com was probably one of the Judd Apatow movies who were rated R and doing all that other kind of stuff. We saw, what is it, The Boys or whatever that gay one was with Billy Eichner on the street. And then they tried to do one with Hunger Games girl who does everything first, even though she didn't do that first, but she took off her clothes and those didn't do very well. They haven't done well for a long time because Netflix and chill became a thing, because that's what couples want to do nowadays if they want to see something like that. Also, a lot more guys, especially Gen Z, a lot of the people that would go see these things, they're getting that generation is being shown to be a little bit more based. So it's Netflix and chill. Let's go do things as a couple. Let's actually do this. I don't want to see a bunch of faggots on screen where like there's the wedding airport scene. Yes, it's great for older generations. It's not great for what we basically experience in our everyday lives. We know it's fake. It's also pretty contrived, and none of it really works well. And girls don't want to see it either. Girls have other hobbies and other things that they're doing. It's not just like, oh, I found my man. It's like, no, no. Now, girls are being hit on all the time. Girls are constantly being swept up. Even if they have a ring on their finger, that doesn't stop dudes from trying to hit on them because, oh gosh, this is going down a huge side path. So let's just stop that right now. Despite the strategy, the film failed to resonate with mainstream audience. Its sub 1 million debuts signals that online media attention and critical praise do not necessarily translate to box office success. And yes, I saw this. I brought it up, at least on my phone. It has already been nominated for an award, and it just came out. Maybe part of that budget didn't go into anything as far as making the movie very good, or obviously they spent most of the budget trying to get it into theaters and then trying to get it into Oscar or award contention because it's already been nominated. Do you think that that's a DEI nomination, especially because it's an all Asian cast and it has to do with LGBTQAIP? Do you think? And let's just go straight into a little synopsis directed by Andrew Ahn, because I think the original one was a story by Ang Lee, and he was known for Brokeback Mountain, as well as the Eric Bana Hulk and a couple of other things. He's had some decent stuff, but Brokeback Mountain, whatever. They won a lot of awards because it was the first gay butt fucking on screen. Andrew Ahn features a cast described in press materials as predominantly representative of specific identity groups. And you wonder why it's not making money. Because your press materials are literally trying to sell the movie this way, a fact that was repeatedly highlighted during the film's promotion. What promotion? Because I didn't even know it was happening, other than Kelly Marie Trans coming out and just bringing up Star Wars fans, bringing up her career, bringing up her non-binary choice of sexuality. Nobody has heard about this thing. Nobody was interested in it, and they didn't do a good job with anything. However, even with the press tour, spotlighting trans personal journey, oh my gosh, personal flip of the switch, because that's all that is nowadays. And casting the production as groundbreaking, the numbers suggested limited interest from general audiences. They tried to do this with Buzz Lightyear. They tried to do this with literally everything. And as they keep losing money, they keep doubling down, and they keep blaming the people who have money in their fucking wallet to go see the film that would, if they had just made a good fucking movie and kept the names out of their mouths, would have possibly been viable. But they can't do that. Anyway, this is Malfa Multi. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you later. I've got some Lord of the Rings extended editions to watch. Bye.